continuing to do things that no longer serve us makes it busy and not productive. Take this as a sign to start to audit and really reevaluate the things you do on a day-to-day basis. Welcome back to On the Horizon. This is Melrose Michaels. I am your host, and I'm here to share what's worked for me in building my adult creator business to try to make building yours just a little bit easier. Let's get into today's episode. So I'm really hoping that this episode doesn't come across like a hot take, but I do believe what I'm about to say is a little bit controversial. So apologies for kind of this step away from our traditional episode on the podcast, but I wanted to put this out here because it's been on my mind lately, and I think a lot of the creators that listen to our stuff could possibly get some value out of it. So my, hot take or controversial opinion that I've been kind of ruminating on is that being busy is in fact a form of laziness. And I say this as someone that I believe was doing this myself. So I think that in an effort to work towards our goals, sometimes we end up being busy instead of productive. We end up filling our to-do list with mediocre tasks or mundane tasks that don't actually move the needle any closer to our end goal. But because we have this big task list, this big to-do list, we feel productive and we give off the appearance of being productive, but really what we're being is busy. And those two things are totally different. So being busy is just the act of having things to do, of being in activity, versus being productive is the act of moving things closer to the goalpost and actually having leverage on the things and actions that you're taking. And the two are very similar in appearance. So when you're going through your day-to-day, sometimes things that you had started because they were productive kind of just become being busy. Like they're no longer useful to you. And very often we don't take the time to actually reevaluate our to-do list or reevaluate the tasks or the actions along the paths we're taking. We don't ever stop to audit those things because at one time maybe they did move the needle, maybe they did serve us. But now for where you're at this level of the game or where you're at this level of your business, they are no longer useful. So a great example of this in our adult content creator vertical would be something like maybe sending an emoji as a mass message every morning to every fan that's on your fan site. Because before, sending that emoji every morning put you at the top of all of those fans' inboxes, and it made you top of mind for everyone that had ever followed you or subscribed to your platform. But that may have worked for, a couple weeks, and you take the time out of your busy life to sit there and schedule it on your queue for the next couple weeks. But in reality, after so long, those fans see that repetitiveness, they don't open your messages, and it's actually having the complete opposite effect. So now you continuing to take the time to schedule that emoji to go out every morning is just you being busy. It is no longer you being productive. And there's a lot of little things we do like that as adult content creators that we lose sight of, I think. And we don't understand that they're becoming busy work and not productive work, because we get rewarded for these things at some point along the way. And when we're rewarded for them, we don't want to depart from them. Another good example of this would be certain tweets that maybe we put out on social media or on Twitter to either farm engagement or to promote our stuff. Those things that may have worked, a year ago and we were rewarded for may not work today because algorithms are different, that back-end code on Twitter is different, the audiences have evolved. So continuing to do things that no longer serve us makes it busy and not productive. And I think that it's really important for creators listening in today to take this as a sign to start to audit and really reevaluate the things you do on a day-to-day basis. And you might have to revisit your goals, like your long-term goals, to actually fine-tune what your day-to-day tasks are and make sure that you're still directionally headed towards your goals, and that if there are changes that need to be made, that you actually make them. And this shouldn't feel like a bad exercise. This should feel almost empowering because you're taking back your time and you're getting more leverage on it. To have leverage on your time is to use it in ways that get you a lot of output for the input you put in. So if scheduling those emojis, for example, for the next 30 days took you, 25 minutes out of your Monday, for example, but you can then get that 25 minutes back and use it somewhere else that gets you 100 subs in the next 30 days, that is better leverage and better use of your time. And that is what defines it as a productive activity versus a busy activity. So I don't know if you needed to hear this, and I don't know when the last time you audited your to-do list was or your task list. And I also don't know when the last time you actually revisited your long-term goals is. But maybe that you're hearing this today, this is your sign to take the time to do that, because what I don't want for you and what I don't wish on anyone is that, 1, 2, 3, 5 years down the road, they realize that they haven't achieved the thing they set out for and that they wasted their time along the way. That is just such a monster fear for me in life, is to ever waste time, because, we don't get a lot of it. And that's not lost on me. And I hope it's not lost on you listening to this either. But take this as your sign to audit the things you're doing and make sure you are still directionally headed towards the goals that you have in mind. And if not, take this as your sign to change them before it's too late, because being busy for however long and however many years is only going to land you in a place that you don't want to be in. And I wish that regret on no one. So share this with a creator if it resonated with you and if you think someone else maybe needs to hear it. And I wish that you tune in for the next episode. I hope you got some value out of this.
It would be absolutely incredible if you rated this podcast 5 stars and left a little review. We want to get this podcast to as many adult creators as possible, and you taking a second to leave a couple stars and a review really helps us do that. Thanks so much.